Are you God, or was that your religion?
All of us are.
You're God.
All of us are.
So you created the heavens and the earth?
It's called Pantheism.
You said, I asked you, are you absolutely God?
And I answered, I believe everything is. I believe life is God.
Okay, so if life is God and everything that happens is a part of God, then my religion is a part of God. There's nothing I'm saying is wrong. It's just a part of God.
That idea that homosexuality is a sin and those who do that sin should be punished by death is archaic and asinine.
Sin is a construct created by humans. Sins change over time. There is no absolute sin.
So is murder still murder?
Christ's forgiveness of
Christ's forgiveness.
Christ's forgiveness.
Christ's forgiveness ministry.
Christ's forgiveness ministry.
Ministries.
But every one of you here have a conscience. Every one of you here grew up somewhere along the line believing in either a God or believing that there's a right path or a wrong path. I want to call you out of the wrong path. For those who are called of the Lord, come out of your darkness and come to the light. Come to the light. If you want to worship monkeys and elephants, you can do that. I'm not speaking to you. If you want to, you have a religion too? What is your religion? Your religion is God. You're God. So you have a kind of a Black Panther thing on your lip. What is that? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Tattooed. Tattooed God under your lip. And that's your religion. Are you God, or was that your religion?
All of us are.
You're God.
All of us are.
You created the heavens and the earth?
It's called Pantheism.
Okay, so you're a pantheist. So you worship the rocks and the stars and the moon and the trees. You believe God is in everything, so you worship everything.
I don't worship.
You just accept God in everything.
Yes, the idea of pantheism is that all of physical life is a manifestation of divine spirit. So it doesn't have to be conscious of its own creation, but that creator exists within it. So the source, the spirit of all creation exists within all of its creations.
Well, here's what I'm going to say for you, man. Even if you believe that there's a part of you that God exists within, I'm going to tell you something, man. Every man has sinned, and every man has fallen short of the glory of God. Have you sinned?
Sin is a construct created by humans. Sins change over time. There is no absolute sin.
So is murder still murder?
Murder is still murder.
So that didn't change?
Murder is still murder.
So that's one of the few sins that still remain.
I mean, it used to be a sin in the Old Testament for men to shave their beards. That sin has changed.
No, where does it say that?
I forget which chapter.
It says that men should not carve the sides of their beards.
Okay. And
not that they can't cut their beard.
Okay, have you seen how that idea has evolved?
The idea of men cutting their beards had a purpose for the priesthood of the people of Israel at that time to not identify with the people of the world. But since Christ came, and I'm thankful that you're bringing up the Bible in your ideas, since Christ came, he joined Jew and Gentile in one. And that new construct of bringing all nations together is the final standard of all humanity. So,
like I said, over time, things that people consider sinful change and evolve.
There are sins and there are principles for different reasons. We can have bylaws and we have laws. Bylaws change, but laws don't.
I'm just wondering who gets to decide what you consider sinful and what doesn't. You're saying God, and you're basing that off of what? A book?
Yes, the Word of God.
So your interpretation of the Bible has fallacy.
The interpretation of the Bible is literal. It says certain things that are just straightforward. All have sinned, fall short of the glory of God.
So should we stone and kill people who consider themselves, who identify as homosexuals?
I think if there was a theocracy today, anyone that sins should be worthy of death. And the Bible says all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and the wages of all sin is death. And one day, it's going to be worse than stoning. It's going to be the judgment of fire for eternity. So yes, if there was a theocracy, right now we're in a democracy, but if there was a theocracy, then every law in the Word of God would apply today.
This is not a theocracy. We don't live in a theocracy. We live in a democracy. That's our political structure right now. But according to you, based on the rules of your God, if we lived in that theocracy, then the lives of homosexuals should be stoned and maimed. Why would the Creator destroy
a being it created. Why would the creator do that? Why would the creator take it upon themselves to annihilate creatures that it created?
Okay, good question, and very simple. Because some creatures, unfortunately, decide to do destructive things that destroy everybody else. Do you believe in a jail system at all? Punishment for any kind of behavior? Do you believe in it at all? Just at all?
I want to clarify that.
Just answer my question.
I'm going to answer your question. I want to clarify that those structures and systems are created through human intelligence.
Okay. Again, you didn't answer my question. Do you believe in any kind of jail system? Since you are God, do you believe in jail?
How does that relate? I don't.
Just answer the question. You don't know how it relates because you're not thinking on my level, but do you believe in any kind of jail system? I want to know because you're questioning the benevolence, the love, and the ethics of my God, of why he would remove certain people from the earth. Because he's the one who gives life, and he's the one who takes life. And if you destroy his life, he has the right to take you away. It's his house, not yours. So since you're God, no, I want to ask you, since you're God, do you believe in jail? Do you believe in jail, yes or no? For any kind of criminal, for anybody that does anything wrong, do you believe in jail, yes or no?
But the thing I'm trying to say is, I don't need to believe in jail. Jail exists on earth. What is there to believe in?
So you think that's a good construct?
You know, I do believe in rehabilitation, and I do believe there should be a penal code to punish criminals, sure.
Okay, perfect. So the same way I believe in a God that punishes people and removes people from society is the same thing. As God, you believe in the same thing, you just do it in a different way.
Okay. Those are human constructs. God is absolute law.
No, you're a God. You're God.
Hold on. Like I said, those are human constructs. And maybe you're confused about how I consider myself as God. Not meaning I'm omniscient or omnipotent. I didn't say I was omnipotent or omniscient. I don't know the creations of God, therefore we are the creations and the creator spirit exists in us.
So you're a creation. Just to clear the record, you came here saying you're God. You have God tattooed on your lip. But at the end of the day, you admit in your own words that you're not that kind of God. You're a creation.
Yeah, I'm also created.
So there we go, everybody. This is not God. He's a creation. All it takes is a few questions to disprove that you're not God.
In regards to homosexuality, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because I personally feel you have failed to sufficiently answer the question.
So what was the question?
I'll phrase it another way. So, God created these humans, and it's so interesting because homosexuality is not something that's just unique to humans. Other animals portray homosexual qualities as well. I'm so interested in knowing, why did God create these creatures who have homosexual tendencies and nature, a homosexual nature, if they were so abominable? Not only humans who have a conscious choice. According to you, I'm not positive, I don't believe people have a choice when it comes to sexuality. But according to some Christians, maybe not be you, they believe that humans have a choice to act on it or not. But animals do not have a conscious choice, and yet there are still animals who have homosexual tendencies. So how is that a fallacy? Is the creator, is there a flaw in the creator's ability to produce? I don't understand that.
Well, first and foremost, I've had dogs all my life. They can choose who to trust and who not to trust. I can train them to eat here or poo there. They do have choices. Animals do have choices. I don't know why you don't understand that. Every animal has choices.
Are animals conscious beings? Do they have consciousness?
Are they alive?
No. They're alive. They're sentient. But are they conscious? Are they aware of self?
Well, I'm not an animal to know exactly how they think, but one thing I do,
Animals have choice.
they do have choices. You don't realize that animals have choices?
You're telling me an animal can go against its own programming?
Well, you believe that an animal is fully programmed. I believe animals have choices. I believe that when an animal sees someone suffering, that animal can choose and go save that person in the water. You're trying to bring up an animal and saying, well, because there's homosexual activity in the animal kingdom, that means what?
That means it's homosexuality is by natural design.
Because it's done?
Because what?
Because it's practiced?
Because it happens throughout different species. It's not a conscious decision based on. It's not a conscious decision based by humans only. It happens throughout different species, a wide variety of species.
Okay, so
The thing that's missing is that these things are not just isolated human decisions. We've made the Bible all about humans. We've made God and religion all about humans. There are other species on the planet, and if you look at them and observe them, you can see that the fallacies of the Creator are supposedly in these species as well. Meaning the Creator is in itself a really, really bad creator if he wants to admonish and destroy all of his creations.
no, it's called somebody has a choice and they're choosing to do wrong. Just because something happens in nature like pedophilia, because it's sounding to me and it's getting a bit scary that you're trying to tell me just because something happens within the animal kingdom and also within the human kingdom, it must be normal. So just say for the record, are you cool with sleeping with a 3-year-old?
That is a question asked in very bad faith, and it's looking to.
No, it's a real question, and it is asked because I think it's perverted, and I can say it's not right.
That is a question asked in bad faith, and it's looking to discredit me as a human being.
I'm asking you a straight question because you're telling me that because something happens in nature, because something happens in nature, animal kingdom and human kingdom, you're calling yourself a human animal. Technically, based on your philosophy, pedophilia is okay. So just say it for the record. Who cares what anybody says, right? Because you're an animal. Animals do it, right? So is pedophilia cool?
Are you a person who is attracted to 3-year-old boys?
I'm asking you, are you?
I'm asking you, are you?
I'm not, I'm saying it's wrong. Are you saying it's right?
I never said it was right.
No, but you are, because it happens in the animal kingdom. Whatever happens in the animal kingdom and is all around the world must be okay, because homosexuality, you said, happens in the animal kingdom and the human kingdom, so therefore it must be natural. Look, man, look, I'm not even trying to trick you, dude. Like, you're talking about, man, is anybody here honest, man? Just be honest with me. Are you trying to tell me your premise is this? Because something happens in the animal kingdom and the human kingdom, it must be okay and normal. Is that your premise, or did I get you wrong?
You got me wrong.
Okay, then clear this up, because you brought me to the animal kingdom. You tried to prove homosexuality because it happens in the animal kingdom. So why don't you just maybe get rid of that argument, because just because something happens, it doesn't mean it's right.
No, I'm not saying it's right, Mike.
Can we just at least agree on that premise that just because something happens, it doesn't mean it's right?
Just because things happen don't mean they're right.
Thank you.
Things happen. Just because things happen don't mean they're right.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
live in a world with light and dark. Anyways,
Just because a man puts his penis in an anus, or a woman decides to put 2 vaginas together, or someone starts to lick someplace that they shouldn't lick, does that make it right?
it definitely doesn't make it wrong.
Okay, so just because a man, just because an animal decides to go with a child and a human decides to go with a child, does that make it wrong?
Here's the thing.
Does it make it wrong? Maybe it's right. Because now we have a movement that's trying to put a P beside LGBTP, which is including pedophilia. There's a big movement going on right now. So maybe it's right. Maybe we've all been wrong because the Bible is just kind of crazy, right?
In the current state of our civilization, that idea that homosexuality is a sin and those who do that sin should be punished by death is archaic and asinine. So I'm showing you
Do you think the Bible should be banned?
I didn't say that. Now you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I asked you, do you think the Bible should be banned? Because you're quoting the Bible and you're saying that certain laws in the Bible are archaic. So which archaic would mean that it's not useful, or it's not meaningful, or not purposeful. It's something that's not useful for today. Is that what you mean? It's not useful for today. The Bible has principles that are not useful for today. Is that what you're trying to imply by saying archaic?
Sure.
Okay, so do you think it should be banned?
I didn't say that. I don't think it should be banned. I think it's a piece of literature that a lot of people find solitude with, and they should practice that solitude in peaceful ways. But there is a lot of, so I don't think it should be banned at all. I never even said that.
The reason why I'm saying that is because, first of all, you're saying that my God is probably morally incompetent because he's created animals that have certain characteristics that in his book he doesn't like, right? Right?
To me. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is that called religious discrimination?
What do you mean?
Well, because it's a bit of insulting to say my God, my religion is a bit incompetent, because that would be considered religious discrimination according to textbook law, wouldn't it?
I think it's discrimination if I'm calling for your religion to be outlawed, not spoken against, but I'm allowed to have my opinion on different pieces of literature.
Am I allowed to have my opinion on different facts as well?
Sure.
Okay, good. So why are police hanging around a preacher talking about his opinion and another man talking about an opinion when there's a lot of criminals down the road? You see, because they're waiting to hear something from this preacher that they don't like. But yet they just heard textbook religious discrimination.
Why are you so insulted about about supposedly me religiously discriminating you when you're so cavalier about religiously discriminating someone else's religion?
I'll tell you why. 'Cause I just destroyed your platform. You're pantheistic, right? God is in everything. There you go. God is in everything, so everything I said is true. So scrap your belief. You're good, man. You believe what I said is true, so you already lost.
What do you mean?
You don't get it? Because if you believe God is in everything, you're in God, everything I say is God, everything. So nothing I'm saying is wrong. So for you to critique what I'm saying means that you're wrong. That means pantheism is false. Because that means that I'm not God, you're not God, or something's not right. Because since it exists in nature and in the animal kingdom, and we're all animals.
Why are you running away?
I'm not running. It's just that your theory is clearly wrong. Go ahead, Billy.
I think the universe,
Come here and put your thumb down.
I think the universe is big enough for two different opinions. So pantheism isn't saying you're wrong, I'm wrong, blah blah. I think the universe is big enough for two different opinions. And when I said pantheism is that the creator's spirit lives in all creations, I said nothing about absolute truth. Those are your ideas.
No.
Those are your words.
So you said you just, man, we're on camera. We'll watch it. Watch it. Read it back because you said you're absolutely God, right?
What?
You said I asked you, are you absolutely God?
And I answered, I believe everything is. I believe life is God.
Okay, so if life is God and everything that happens is a part of God, then my religion is a part of God. There's nothing I'm saying is wrong. It's just a part of God. So let's just live and let live. Go on your way because I'm God, you're God. Everything I say is God. Everything is right is God. My critique of homosexuality, even if I were to say the worst thing about homosexuality is God, and what you say is God, and you putting your thumb down is your God, and I'm God, so we're all God, and you're two thumbs down, so it doesn't really matter what I say or anybody does. There's no standard of absolute truth. Is that what you believe? Is that what you believe? Because you did believe in a legal system in a jail just a few minutes ago. Well, here's what I think. I think that you're confused. I think you're confused.
I don't think so.
I know so.
Because the jail has nothing indicative of absolute truth. You asked me if I believe jail exists. I told you I don't need to believe that jail exists because jail does exist.
No, you said not just like jails exist.
Let me finish my thought, my friend. So when I talk about absolute truth, I never said my words were absolute truth because I believe it's relative. Just like the theory of relativity. Things are relative, my friend. So yes, I accept and allow your beliefs. I don't admonish your beliefs. I accept and allow their beliefs. That will not cause me to act violently towards them. But I never said that my belief is absolute truth.
Okay, so let's just face it. You're not God then.
Why not?
Okay, because God is not confused like you. God knows what he's doing. If you believe in a God that's relative and that's anything can be right, then he's not really God. There's somebody that knows what he's doing, someone that created everything for a purpose. Now, if you believe in a purposeless God with no standard at all, well then, you know what? Why are we talking? Can we even understand each other? Because language would have no meaning, because language means there's absolutes. For you to understand me means there's an... So you don't believe in dictionaries now?
No. You see what I'm saying? You're taking one idea and you're extrapolating to mean something else. I never said I don't believe in dictionaries. You're putting words in my...
Okay, so maybe meaning is relative too. So I'm just like, yabba dabba do, A, B, C, D.
You know what it's called?
What are we talking about?
It's called a philosophical idea.
What are we talking about?
Let me answer your question.
Is there intelligence?
Yes, there's intelligence.
That means there's absolutes.
No, here's the thing, my friend.
So 1 plus 1, does it equal 10?
No, it doesn't equal 10.
That means there's absolutes.
No.
Oh, well, maybe 1 plus 1 is relative, right? It could mean a lot of things.
No, here we go. It's called nihilism, my friend. Nothing has meaning except the meaning you put into it. This world has no meaning. We're the ones that embellish, and we're the ones who endow meaning into life.
So if life has no meaning, then why bother tattoo God on your lip, man?
Because I can.
Okay, yeah, you could do a lot of things. So, I mean,
if life has no meaning, then there's no meaning to this conversation. It's purposeless. It's meaningless. Let's stop the conversation. We actually got things to do. We actually got things to do. I mean, you believe in a nihilistic God. You claim you're God, but you're confused. Go ahead.
Maybe it had no meaning to you. Maybe it was useless to you. But I just wonder if any
Life has no meaning.
That's fine. I just wonder if anyone else found the conversation fruitful and enlightening in any kind of capacity.
If anybody here felt it had meaning, then that means there is such thing as absolutes. If everybody doesn't think it has a meaning, then there is no meaning.
Relative to how you fucking feel.
It's okay. I'm trying to make you understand this. Just because I'm trying to make you understand this, and I don't understand how to express this to you, for me to say, yes, there is, if I endow something with meaning.
You're using the same argument that you use towards homosexuality, is feeling. You're saying that just because somebody has a feeling towards something, that necessarily can have its own meaning and its own reality, and that can technically be right. But I'm trying to say that, no, just because someone has a feeling and does something, that doesn't make it right. There is actually a right thing to do. 1 + 1 is 2, and it will always be 2. I can feel that it's not. I can misconstrue it all I want, but the fact remains. 1 + 1 = 2, and that's the truth.
To me, it's so interesting why you're comfortable with mathematics, but you're not comfortable with, sciences and evolution. You're very comfortable.
Said that.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe I'm putting that, so maybe I'm projecting that.
You did.
Okay, that's fine. But yes, I do believe 1 + 1 = 2. Sure, we believe in that.
That's absolute. Or maybe it's the meaning I put into it. So maybe 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily have to mean 2.
What I'm saying is, you're very, like I say, we believe you're very comfortable with mathematics, right? Because you're very comfortable with mathematics.
Are you? I'm very comfortable with math. You believe mathematics has law, the laws of mathematics, the laws of science. You know, laws are absolute, right?
Yes, I believe in laws.
Absolute laws?
Gravity is one law I can say I believe in, definitely.
Okay, so you're just a confused person. Bro, you can't have it both ways, man. Sorry, enough of your time. God bless you guys, man. We just saw a nihilist get destroyed by fact and truth. He says he's God, but then he says he's a creator. If Mr. Thumbs Down is actually intelligent, we can have a discussion. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Anybody that's intelligent, that thinks they're smarter than God, come forward. No, come forward. I can't go too far because of this mic cord. Come forward. I'm not putting no mask on because I'm not sick. If the mask works on you, then don't worry about me. Right? I mean, if your mask works, then why are you afraid? Because your mask doesn't work.
True.
And my mask won't work either. So I'll spit through my mask, you're gonna spit through your mask, and it's not gonna work. Because if you're safe right now, you're wearing a mask, right? Don't worry about me, I'm not sick. Are you sick? Okay, I'm not worried about you, but you're safe, because you got a mask. You're not safe. So why are you wearing a mask that doesn't keep you safe, dude? Come on, man. This is the deception of this world. Everybody's wearing a mask that doesn't keep them safe. So why are you wearing a mask? Did you come from something or nothing?
No, actually I came from my mother. And
Okay, so you have an originator.
so I'm here.
Okay, so you have an originator, your parents. Where did your parents come from?
So, the parents, oh, all right.
You see, no matter which way you spin it, everything you see has an origin.
All right.
You can't disprove me. You can't even prove that you exist.
Does that prove that God exists?
No, it proves that there's an originator behind all of life. That's what it proves.
Christ's forgiveness of
Christ's forgiveness.
Christ's forgiveness ministry.
Christ's forgiveness ministry.
But just because you have a personal experience, it doesn't make it the right experience. And it's the same way someone can say, I believe in the spaghetti monster, doesn't mean he exists. We know something exists based on the relevant data and knowledge that we pass down, the facts that line up with the experience and the meaning behind it. Find spaghetti monster, how do you know he exists? I'm not going to prove he exists. How do you know you exist? Prove it. Prove that you exist. Prove that you exist.
Prove me God exists.
No, I want you to prove that you exist.
Why should I?
Prove to me that I'm talking to a real person.
I think so. I'm here.
Oh, you can't prove it?
I think so. I'm here.
You think. Do you know you're here?
What? Do you see me?
I see you, but it doesn't mean you're real. I see a lot of things in my dreams. It doesn't mean they're real.
That means
How do I know you're real?
you're talking to an imaginary person.
Probably. You probably are imaginary.
So that means you're crazy, aren't you?
Does it?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
So if I don't
Listen,
exist,
you don't know that you exist.
do you exist?
No, I exist, but you can't prove that you exist. Prove it. Give me one proof that you exist.
Actually, we're talking about flying spike monster.
No, I want to know if you exist. You can't give me one proof that you exist. Can you?
Huh?
Just give me one thing that you exist.
I'm thinking some exist. I know.
You're thinking because you
I
exist.
know that I do exist.
You know.
But there's no evidence about God. Proving that God.
So you know he exists. So what makes your knowledge true or false? Or what makes it true?
So what's your definition of true or false?
Can we just stop right there and just at least settle one thing? You can't prove that you exist.
Look, why should I even think about it? Like,
Well, that's my point. You see, your theory about why does God exist, I can tell you why God exists. I'll tell you why God exists. Because of experience. I've experienced God. So many people have experienced God. The simple question and the simple answer is this. How does God exist? Because of experience.
what kind of experience? So I do
Ask
exist.
them how he got here.
Oh, what kind of
I
experience?
have experience. So I say like flying spike monsters because I have experience.
Do you have experience with the flying spaghetti monster?
Yeah, you see me every day. Like, yeah.
So if you've had experience with the flying spaghetti monster, then all you need to do is prove your experience. If your experience can be proven true, then I can say that the flying spaghetti monster is a reality. But you can't prove yourself. You can't prove that you exist. You can't even prove that the flying spaghetti monster exists. But I can prove to you that God exists because the experience of countless of billions of people on this planet for thousands of years have declared that God exists and they've experienced him personally. Billions of people.
So there are billions of people who believe in Zeus, and they have experiences.
Billions? No, there's never been billions of people that believe in Zeus. Never.
So, like, there was never something like Greece, ancient Greece.
Yeah, and there weren't billions of people in Greece.
In the times, like, in thousand times, billions of people existed.
There weren't billions of people in Greece. In fact, the billions of people that we have now,
So, the
we
fact that-
didn't have as much people then before.
Yeah, does that prove that God exists?
It's one proof, and you can go deeper than that, right? You see, all experience has to subject itself to fact and meaning, right? All experience. So your experience of Zeus, I can say the reason why Zeus is not real, and people claim to experience him, is because when you actually deduce it and look deeper into their experiences, you realize that nobody has actually experienced them at all. But one thing I could probably say about
Mistaken. Like, maybe they have. How do you know?
okay, so maybe he had, and I'll say maybe they experienced a demon called Zeus.
So, like,
So maybe Zeus is real. He's a fallen angel, and he's a demonic entity. And maybe your flying spaghetti monster is real because he's actually a fallen angel or a demonic entity. But one thing I can tell you is that you still, at this point, can't prove that you exist. See, that's the biggest question. Because if you can't tell me you exist, I might as well stop this question or stop this discussion and just keep on going because you don't exist. I'm talking to an imaginary person, right?
what? I like to think it's God. 'Cause you said,
Experience. I've experienced God and other people have too.
you're changing the question. Actually, let's come back. I asked you a simple question. Prove me that flying spaghetti monster doesn't exist.
I don't believe in the flying spaghetti monster. I'm saying if you believe in it and you can prove your experience, then maybe he exists.
So there are as much evidence as your God, as Jesus. I mean, there are no more evidence that proves Jesus exists than evidences which prove that flying spaghetti.
Jesus Christ was an historical figure with historians that have written and seen him and known him personally. historians. I don't know any historian that has said that they've met the flying spaghetti monster.
Schizophrenics, or maybe, I don't know, some authoritarians who wanted to control the people in that moment. So,
Where do you base your beliefs on? What fact? What historical record proves that?
do you know?
You're telling me. Who are you? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, you're a 19-year-old telling me what happened 2,000 years ago, and you have no historical backing?
I have, actually. Do you know the place that is called Ephesus?
Yes.
So, in Ephesus.
So nobody trips.
So, let me say my book. There's a place in Turkey. It's called Ephesus. It's an ancient city, right? Right? And so, there's a place in that city which Romanians gathered. I think it was 400 after Jesus Christ. After the moment you believe that Jesus Christ was born, in that moment they declared Mother Mary as virgin. I mean, before that nobody believed in Mother Mary as virgin, and in that moment they decided to declare Jesus as the Son of God. No person before that moment believed in Jesus as the Son of God. So,
This is a very quick question, man. What historical data do you have, or text, or anything that proves what you said? Because I have historical data that proves the existence of a Son of God even before Jesus, from the Dead Sea Scrolls, found in a Qumran village. They spoke about the coming of the Son of God, the Son of Man. This was an established belief long before Jesus Christ even came.
what's your source? What's your source?
The Dead Sea Scrolls, religious texts that exist, and we have.
That's hilarious. You're proving your belief with the religious texts. So, like,
But at least I have a text. What text do you have to prove anything you just said? Because what you said is historically false. What you said is that people didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God prior to some cult in Ephesus many years later. That's not even true.
that's true. Like, all right. So, before Jesus Christ, in ancient Roman, people believed in myths, and those customs entered Christianity, like the Christmas and like I don't know.
You're mixing up a lot of stuff altogether. But again, I'm gonna start.
Some all characters of Mithra, which entered Christianity, and what you're talking about with Jesus Christ, it's actually the character of Mithra. You're believing
That's what you feel, but it's not true, because Jesus Christ wasn't born on December 25th either. No, you do feel it.
I had so many mistakes about Mithraism, and
Why don't you do a university academic exercise and look at the other stories of Mithras and all those other stories that you're trying to argue? But the point of the matter is this: there are historical records of an existence of a person named Jesus Christ, both from Jewish sources, secular sources, and Christian sources. So if this was in a court of law and you put 3 witnesses against yourself, a 19-year-old from 2020, they would win in a court of law over you, based on historical texts that we have. So, and a lot of the evidence. No, I'm just saying is that historical data proves the existence of Jesus Christ.
no,
You have a theory. Religious data, secular historians have written about Jesus. Jewish people that didn't even believe in Jesus being the Messiah wrote about his existence, as well as Christians. And there's over 4 texts, 4 Gospels that attest to his stories. So out of all of this evidence, and also prophetic evidence before, archaeological evidence backing up biblical data, I can deduce that the biblical story is true. But your evidence, which you have no evidence, you have no text, no evidence, and nothing behind anything you're saying, and you can't even prove to me that you exist. I mean, that was one question I had to you. Prove to me that you exist. I just want one evidence that you exist. If you can give me one evidence that can be substantiated, then maybe I believe you exist.
I'm here.
You're here. Who said that? What if we're all dreaming? What if this is a bad nightmare?
So prove it.
No, it's you need to prove that you exist.
So, like, this is obvious. This is obvious.
It's obvious. What's obvious?
That I'm here.
No. What if you're a dream?
That I'm
Obvious to who?
here to you.
To who? How do you know we're just not in a big computer program right now? And you're just kind of going through the motions of a computer
Still
program.
I'm here. Still I'm here. Still
Here, what does here mean? What do you mean here? Here where?
What? Like, this
Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Sounds crazy. You know what's really crazy? Is that you can look around you and you can clearly see with your own eyes that everything has an origin. Even Darwin wrote a book called Origin of Species. And for you to believe, listen to me, for you to believe, or for you to see that everything around you has an origin and you can't even believe in an originator, that to me boggles my mind. That you can't believe that you have an originator. You can't even tell me how you exist or what here means or what exist means.
alright.
Do you get me?
No, I don't get you. Like, you're asking hilarious questions that I know I'm here. Okay?
I don't know you're here.
So, that means you're stupid. Yeah.
No, it actually makes you a fool. The Bible says the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Because if you can look around you, there's nothing on this planet that doesn't come from a source. Is there? No, tell me, is there anything on this planet that doesn't come from a source? I'm escaping from your questions. I've answered all of your questions, sir.
That's hilarious.
What question didn't I answer? Tell me, just ask me the question.
Does religious text prove itself? Because, I can write on a paper that flying spaghetti monster exists. Does that mean that flying spaghetti monster?
It doesn't. But if there was many witnesses of Jesus' existence from secular historians, Jewish historians that didn't even believe in Jesus, and Christian historians. Okay, look, the secular people that didn't believe in Jesus, they wrote about the existence of Jesus. Does that make it credible? Someone who didn't believe in Jesus, the Jews that rejected Jesus, they wrote about Jesus. Does that make it credible? I mean, if you're saying if I wrote a belief system on a piece of paper and that could just be arbitrary, that means it could exist. If people, that's like saying an atheist wrote about the existence of this man, David Lynn, on a street corner on 2020 on January 12th or 13th. So if an atheist wrote about me, would that make it credible? No. So what makes anything credible?
So,
What makes anything credible?
you know what makes anything incredible? The fact that something came from nothing. And without,
Something came from nothing is credible?
that's incredible.
Where did you come from?
What?
Where did you come from?
I'm coming from Iran.
Did you come from something or nothing?
No, actually I came from my mother. And
Okay, so you have an originator.
So I'm here.
Okay, so you have an originator, your parents. Where did your parents come from?
So, their parents, all right.
You see, no matter which way you spin it, everything you see has an origin.
All right.
You can't disprove me. You can't even prove that you exist.
Does that prove that God exists?
No, it proves that there's an originator behind all of life. That's what it proves. And the originator behind all of life must have intelligence to bring forth intelligence, must have judgment or rationality to bring forth rationality. Are you a rational being?
Actually,
Are you rational?
yeah, I think I'm rational.
Where did you get that from?
All right.
You got that from your DNA. Your DNA is a coding system, and you can't get a code without a coder.
Would you let me ask my question?
Go ahead.
So, actually, I started we know how the universe can come exist from nothing, right?
You know.
I cannot tell you because I don't have any paper to write it.
You can't tell me.
Yeah, because you don't know mathematics. And,
No, I actually do.
all right, maybe you do, but there's not enough time for that. So, we have theories with mathematical evidence.
Theory?
Yeah, with mathematical evidences which can show that the universe can come from nothing, alright? But the fact that they're not still completely proved.
Okay, so you got a theory that's not completely proved, and that's your basis for fact.
So that means that we're still not sure that how the universe.
Did everybody hear that? You're still not sure of that.
Yes. we're still not sure how did the universe began, all right? But the fact that we don't know how did universe come to exist.
So wait a second, man. Wait, stop, man. Stop. No, I gotta stop you in your track because you're telling me that you know how the universe can come into existence with nothing, but it's still a theory. You're still not sure at the same time how the universe came into being.
Exactly. All right?
So you don't really know anything you're talking about.
All right? So that's the fact that we don't know how can universe come from nothing. Does it really mean that God made it?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but it does mean that there is a life force or a power that brought everything into being that's more stronger than you. How do you know? Okay, well, listen to me. The greatest power that exists here, you said it must have an origin. It must come from somewhere, right? This logic would deduce that, right? You came from somewhere. The powers that be came from somewhere, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be God, from what you understand, so I agree with you. But the powers that do exist, the reality that we see today has rationality, has order, has meaning, has structure. It doesn't have order. So why are you still standing in one piece? Why is a car and not a plane? Why is a door and not a key? There's meaning. There's the genetic errors made a key, and a door, and a man, and a woman, and a human, and an ape, an ape. Listen to me. God made things orderly with rationality and design. There's a design behind everything. There's a meaning behind everything. That's why we have dictionaries. That's why me and you can understand each other. You see, if there was no meaning and there was no absoluteness to the things that we're saying, me and you would never be able to comprehend each other. We can only comprehend each other because we have a shared meaning on language. And language and meaning come from a source. You learned your language, or you learned English from whoever taught you English. And that meaning was passed down, right? So there's meaning behind things. And if you don't understand meaning, then why are you studying anything in school? You're talking about mathematics. Mathematics is based on objectivity and fact and meaning behind the numbers. 1 + 1 = 2. It doesn't equal 4, right? Now, if everything's just random, 1 + 1 can equal 10,000 today and 1 billion tomorrow.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make, what I just said doesn't make sense, but you want me to believe that this universe is just random and everything's just floating around and just poof and one day. So how come we don't see apes coming out of the jungle becoming humans today? And why don't we see you becoming a lizard today? Or is it magic? You believe more in magic than in faith in a God? Maybe we should get Harry Potter with his wand and just hit you and make you into a flying raven or something. That would be random.
So, like, doesn't your misunderstanding, or maybe you're trying to escape from what I told you, random doesn't exactly mean that there's a ghost, there might be a ghost behind that street, right? There's a universe, and there are physics laws, right? There are laws of physics, and the world we live in is based on those laws. And
you know what the fundamental law behind all the laws of physics and all the laws of the senses? It's faith. You have to believe that these laws are actually meaningful and purposeful. If you have no faith behind the very things that you believe, then that means the very things you believe are not even a reality.
Fundamental law, right?
Faith is a fundamental law.
Doesn't make sense to me, or not?
Doesn't make sense. Think